Hi gang, Rob here. It's the evening of 19 April 2016, and what you're looking at in the lens of the TheApostleP camera are three examples of the work of the master of the traditional serpentine pattern split back Whittler. His name is Bill Howard, currently the founder and owner of Great Eastern Cutlery in Titusville, PA. Now, two of these knives are GEC blades, this one and this one. The one on the left is a Northwoods knife, and it is not a GEC Northwoods knife, and it's not a Derek Bone Northwoods knife. This is back in the original days of Northwoods, when most of their folding pocket knives were manufactured by Queen, and that era coincides with the time that Bill Howard was the chief designer and many other things at Queen. If they look similar, that's because they are. That's because they're sort of an old seahorse pattern, as refined and perfected by Bill Howard. Let's kind of take a look at these individually. This is the Northwoods knife in gorgeous Italian jigged bone. These blades are 420 HC. The main blade is a Wharncliffe. And this knife, boy, if you guys have really been paying attention, you know you've seen this knife, and it used to have polished blades. I have refinished them in satin because the polish really wasn't that great, and I like satin better than I like polished. I probably just ruined the value of a really expensive collectible, but I don't care. So, Warney Main, and these blades are, they're close together, and it's a Queen, so we're going to open them individually so as not to rub. Then we have a secondary pen and a secondary clip. And look how large that clip is. Let me get the pen halfway out. I guess it's not that much larger than the pen. It's rather imposing for a secondary blade on a Whittler. Now, these knives are sort of the first of the type, and we'll get to the number 38 GECs here in just a minute. But notice, notice what Bill did from a design standpoint. Look at the tip of that Wharncliffe and how close it is to the blade tangs of the secondaries. Now, this one's perfect. This is the second one I bought. The first one, the first time I closed the Wharncliffe blade, it crashed into one of the secondaries. I got a feeling this might be part of the reason Bill left Queen in the first place, because their machinery, their processes, their people just weren't able to produce what Bill saw in his mind. So this is a rare and really good example of the serpentine pattern Whittler in Bill's eye before there was GEC. Now, along the line, after Bill started GEC, there were courthouse Whittlers, which had a handle shaped very much like a Congress knife, but it was a split back three-blade Whittler. And there were the number 57 Geppetto Whittlers, a knife that's on my short list. Then came the 38 in March of 2015. The 38, of course, is the GEC version of this Northwoods. And it's just a beautiful knife. Look what we did here. Notice how that main clip blade, it doesn't extend to the tangs, it extends past the tangs of the secondary blades, and it's perfectly centered. And I can open all three of these blades with the other two closed and never get a rub. Just take a look. Oh, they're so beautiful. and they're so great in hand. I love this knife in titty trim so much that when I heard about a guy named Roy Humenick who had started a website ready to receive a series of knives over the years called AmericanWhitler.com, and when I heard that the first edition of the American Whittler was going to be a 38 with rat tail bolsters, a gorgeous, deeply colored peach seed jig bone with a chevron shield, no etch polished blades. I just had to have one, and this knife is never carried, never sharpened, and probably never will be, I guess, maybe. But the same thing. Look at the fitment of the blades. Now these knives are they sort of made a statement. It's almost like these knives were made by Bill and GEC to tell the guys at Queen, just half a mile away or so, you see, you can build this knife to exacting tolerances with superb fitment. I told you you could do it. You sure didn't do it with these, but we're doing it with these. This was a statement knife for GEC. And let's see, these are sort of a middle-sized knife, a little bigger than, a little longer than like a 77 Barlow, but they're, we'll call that, they're longer than 3 7/8, but not quite 15/16, so gosh, that would be 29-30 seconds, 3 29-30 seconds long. So a pretty long knife. A pretty long knife to get a tip to bury without hitting that long. But, you know, it's a year later, and apparently Bill has said, well, that was great, and yeah, we did a good job. We're the best in the world, we know it. But, you know, I think maybe we could take a 98 frame, this new mammoth, behemoth, almost 5-inch long pattern. I think we could take this knife, this frame that we make the Texas camp knife and Texas cattle knife from, and I think we could go from 675 thousandths thick in this 4 implement configuration, go down to 515 thousandths, a little over half an inch. Make a split back Whittler in an almost 5-inch long knife and make it just as well as we did the 38s, even though it's a whole inch longer. Let's see if we happen to have one. Oh, we do. We do happen to have one. Would you look at that? And this is the American Whittler version. This is a Roy Humenick special factory order. American Whittler Premium Pocket Knives, 1095 carbon steel, Northfield, unXL'd, and there is Roy's website. Oh, got that same chevron shield. No rat tails in these bolsters, just nothing but smooth. And I think Roy opted for this look because the knife is so big. He wanted it to be smooth and pocketable and svelte, and it really is. No squared off bolsters. These are just round and beautiful. Look at these snakewood covers. Oh my. And they are smooth. The transitions are perfect. Can't even feel the shield edges. Oh, guys. And the materials in this thing are so beautiful, and the styling's so beautiful. And here's a nice touch. I talk when I do Whittler videos about the construction and the wedge down the middle of the knife. How cool is it that they made this one out of brass? Follow that thing. full thickness down here, and we follow it, we follow it, we follow it, and we watch it taper and terminate. Isn't that neat? The whole frame tapers because of the taper of that wedge. And then we have back springs converging to run that main blade, which is about a 7-pull and absolutely silky smooth, with a great cam action that picks up a little force as you approach lock, which is exactly how you'd want it. Look at that massive blade stock. Gee, what is the tang thickness on this baby? Something I forgot to measure. So let's do that. Yeah, 156. So what is that, guys? Five 30-seconds thick. Then we come down to about an 1/8 here at the spine. And then we've got this big machine swedge. If this blade looks familiar, it's the same. It's essentially the same clip point blade that's in the Texas camp knife, except it does not have a long pull. The nail nick and the machine swedge starts behind the nail nick. In the Texas camp knife, the swedge starts here. In fact, since it's here, let's take a look. See the difference? Now, why would we do that? Well, we do that because this swedge, remember, this material would continue to thicken all the way to the spine. If we put this machine swedge in, we have a thinner dimension through here for the secondary blades to pass. So, swedges with a purpose on these Whittlers. It's gorgeous. Got that same just a little bit of recurve to accelerate your cut, but not enough of a recurve to cause you a problem sharpening. And Roy went with an etch this time. Each one of these is going to say 1 of 50, and then the American Whittler logo on the mark side. Tang stamp, Northfield Unexcelled, made in USA. Great Eastern Cutlery, Titusville, PA. And let's take a look and see on the secondaries what we have. We have the GEC model number 98, 1, main blade clip, 3 blades, and 16 the year. Over here we got nothing. Let's take a look at the Warncliffe, Titusville Ironworks, and nothing on the back. So let's look. Is it possible to have the same kind of fitment and clearances on an almost 5-inch knife? Yeah, look at that. I'm not sure you could pass a piece of notebook paper between those blade tangs and the spine of that main clip blade. It is dead in the middle. It is perfect. And oh yeah, there's no blade rub. And listen to the walk and talk on those secondaries. Our buddy Steve from How About the Truth, after he got done flushing his and oiling it, he said, it operates like a Rolex watch. It does. It's, wow. They're just something else, guys. They are something else. Now, my intention with this knife, much like the 38 American Whittler, is to make these pure safe queen collectibles. Now, it's easy to do with this one because one of my favorite EDC traditionals is my Titty Ute 38 in Gabon Ebony. So this one happily stays in the safe room and never gets used. But I only have one of these. And even though it's this huge, almost 5-inch knife, it's so thin and easy. Notice we almost have sunken joints. The tangs only stick up about more than a 32nd, but not a 16th of an inch. Very, very svelte in pocket. And by the way, secondaries have hidden kicks. So this is all smooth for your fingers through here. No big choil. Let's see, which one doesn't have hidden kicks? I think the Northwoods has. Yeah. See the difference between the hidden kick on the bottom and the normal kick on the top? The hidden kick just gives you a lot more latitude where to put your index finger when you're whittling with these secondary blades. Shall we open her up and look in the blade well? I think we should. And no surprises here. Everything's bright and shiny and finished and precisely ground. The back spring surfaces where they interface with the blade tangs are all nicely ground with good micro finishes, which is why we get this Rolex-like operation. Contrast that with the Queen Northwoods. And this has the steel wedge. But, you know, the back springs are a little wavy. Everything's just a little rougher. They tried. I mean, and if you get a good one of these, they're really a great knife. The Queen's not Great Eastern Cutlery. I don't know about you guys, but when I look this knife over closely, and by the way, the finishing, the satin from swedge to main bevel, or the face of the blade, much more consistent on this than they were on the Texas camp knife version. But when I look at these, the materials, the finishes, the grinds, the stunning beauty, these look like custom knives to me. And they fit like custom knives, and they walk and talk like custom knives. And I don't think you can buy them. And not the American Whittler trim. They were only $50. Roy got the first 12, I think, a week ago Monday. I paid him immediately to make sure I got one. I was sort of on a wait list for these. $173 shipped or something. Sounds like a lot for a traditional slip joint pocket knife, but worth every penny. I think I vaguely remember yesterday looking at Knife Ship Free. They might have had one of these in Titty trim and Gabon ebony. Might look pretty good next to that. I probably need to go buy that before I make this video public to make sure you don't buy one before I do. Then I'd have a user, wouldn't I? That'd be the biggest user traditional slip joint I've ever owned. I think I better go get one. So I'm leaving you now. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, Bill Howard is the Whittler whisperer, and the word is sharp.